Super Rugby Aotearoa is only a month and a bit away, man. End of Feb, the new season is going to kick off. There's been a fair bit of movement around the teams. One news story in particular, bit of a heartbreaking one as a Blues fan, but as the Blues have been known to sign players from other teams, and we didn't pick this guy up. But it's going to be weird to see one of my former Blues guys in another team's colours. But anyway, we'll have a look at some of the ins and outs from the 5 Super Rugby Aotearoa teams, and you guys can let me know which teams do you think have done better and which teams may be lacking a little bit overall. We'll go from north to south, so we will start with the Blues, and this is not the full list of ins and outs. There's certainly a lot of younger guys that are being brought through the ranks as well. But for the Blues, the two biggest signings are definitely prop Nepo Laulala. He's got 30-odd caps for the All Blacks, so he's going to add a bit of much-needed punch. Well, I don't know about much needed. Blues scrum's been alright, but most welcome punch to that front row. And Dylan Hunt, loose forward, signing from the Highlanders. So we got one player from the Chiefs, one player from the Highlanders. Dylan Hunt, Auckland guy, so he's kind of returning home. And that Blues loose forwards are kind of stacked with talent, but I mean, it's the one position that loads of teams are actually looking pretty strong. I mean, we've got Gibson, Papali'i, Robinson, Sotutu, Akira Ioane, and then you put Dylan Hunt in that list as well. It's a pretty mean-looking, loose forward set of players. And Laulala, we've also got Tui Nukuafe the year before. So yeah, we've signed some decent props, and it seems like Auckland or the Blues is now maybe more of a welcome destination for people to go. When we were in the doldrums, we found it hard to entice, top level talent to come because it was a losing team. But now that they seem to be doing all right, the signings seem to be arriving. And to be honest, that kind of all started with Bodie, but I'll have to go back and look at the full transfers. We have lost some guys, though. Tony Lamborn, I did read one news article that said he's in the squad, but on the official Blues list of players, he's not on there. So I'm not sure if he's a wider training squad member or if he's not got a contract, but again, couldn't see him on the Blues website. Sione Mafaleo has gone to the Chiefs. Bowden Barrett, his stay with us was brief, but he will be back. He's off in Japan. Their season start has just been delayed. But yeah, he's taking his sabbatical year, which is kind of frustrating as a Blues fan because there was the big news of signing him, only to find out that he's going to take the first half of the season off as a holiday. Everyone ended up having a bit of a time off with the lockdowns and COVID. And now he's back to Japan, off to Japan. So yeah, he's with his time with the Blues, he's been on holiday and now he's in Japan. But he'll be back. Joe Marchant's gone back to England. His impact was pretty limited, to be fair. And Matt Duffy is also headed over to Japan, probably about the right time for him. I think he got, was it 1 or 2 tests for the All Blacks? And then very quickly fell out of favour. But yeah, that's the Blues. I think they've done all right. I think they've got a pretty decent looking squad. But we'll do full squad previews at some point, a bit closer to the season. For the Chiefs, as I mentioned, Sione Mafaleo, he's one of the guys that's been brought in. They've brought in Brent Gatland from the Highlanders. Whether he links up with his dad remains to be seen, because remember, Clayton McMillan is taking over the Chiefs for 2021, as Warren Gatland is supposed to be off with the British and Irish Lions, but there's still a big old question mark about whether that goes ahead. Apparently, there's no connection between the signing of Bryn and the presence of Warren, but coincidence, maybe. And Chase Tiatia signed as well. Again, there's other guys who have signed, but those are kind of maybe your big three. Chase Tiatia, certainly a real live wire guy at fullback, and him and Damien McKenzie will certainly have fun if they kind of rotate those guys in, or he's good backup for Damien if he doesn't get a starting job. They have lost a fair few players, though, and Gatland maybe comes at a good time because they've lost Cruden. He's, I think, gone to Japan. Tian Falcon's also gone to Japan. Never really worked out for him. They've still got Caleb Trask, so it'll be probably between Trask and Gatland for that 10 job. Alain Malo has gone to the Highlanders. As I mentioned, Laulala's up with the Blues. Tyler Ardron left halfway through last season because with the disjointed seasons with COVID, he left. And Allardyce has also gone to Japan. Ardron's gone to France. So locking stocks may be a bit thin, but you've got Akoi and you've got Ba'i, so there's certainly some young and up-and-coming locks in the Chiefs' ranks as well. So not quite like a full rebuild, but like a partial rebuild of that Chiefs squad, whereas the Blues one maybe is a bit more tweaking. For the Hurricanes, they've not really brought in any kind of big names. I mean, they got Simon Hickey, who's come back from playing in Europe, played in the Mitre 10 Cup for Auckland, and they've got, well, I shouldn't say not big names. I know Julian Xavier is a bloody big name in the world of rugby, doing a bit of disservice to him there, but there's still lingering question marks about what kind of level he'll be at. He impressed me at times in the Mitre 10 Cup from what games I saw of him, but he's certainly not 2015 Julian Xavier in 2021. But man, I wish him all the best because we all love him here in New Zealand as a player. Absolute great servant of New Zealand rugby. He'll be needed though because they're missing Ben Lamb. Cobus van Fake also left halfway through last season to head over to England. And TJ Perenara, like Bowden Barrett, is doing his stint over in Japan. So Jamie Booth will have to step up. And Jackson Garden-Bishop and Simon Hickey will be the guys leading the line, I guess, in that number 10 jersey. For the Crusaders, it's always kind of a same old story when you look at the Crusaders, players coming in and players going out. It's always really stable. They lose very few players, and the guys that they lose are usually the one that was like the next best player who couldn't quite get into the 23 or maybe was getting limited minutes. Guys usually leave the Crusaders to get more minutes, and they often go to the Highlanders. That just seems to be a thing. I've not got any stats to back that up, but off the top of my head, I'm thinking Luke Whitelock did that, and I'm sure there are others, but I will not try to list them off the top of my head because I'm sure to make mistakes. But yeah, the Crusaders tend to just bring their guys through the ranks, so they know the system. And they don't tend to have to recruit a lot because guys don't want to leave. It's a winning team, and they're able to recruit the right talent to come through. Just look at how long it took Will Jordan to properly crack the team. I know he's had concussions and whatnot, but yeah. They have signed on Rene Ranger, which is a bit heartbreaking after seeing him in Northland and Blues colours most of the time. And Josh Mackay, former Highlanders player. Now, I don't think Rene Ranger had a contract with the Blues, so I can't blame the Crusaders for signing him. And they have got a few guys injured going into the 2021 season. George Bridge is going to be out for a while. Manasa Mataele is out for a while. Braden Eno is out for the season, so he's going to be a useful guy, especially in the front end of the season, you would have thought. And Josh Mackay, again, useful player. I don't think the Highlanders kept him. I think they've just kind of picked him up. And again, he's a bit of a useful utility, especially if they have got injuries at the start of the season. Billy Harman is one guy who leaves. He goes to the Highlanders. So that is, again, like there's so many good loosies at the Highlanders. You got Sanders, Douglas, Blackadder, Christie, Grace, and Havili. So yeah, it's a tough one. You're better off trying to get some more minutes. With Dylan Hunt leaving the Highlanders, maybe his decision to head south is not a bad thing. Wish him well. And Fetu Paia has also made the move south as well. Now, the biggest movers and shakers in terms of the lineup, it's the Highlanders by a mile. They had a bit of a clean-out. Aaron Major, remember, he didn't get his contract renewed. I think most Highlanders fans will be pretty chuffed to see Tony Brown take the top job once again. And they've been busy, man. They've signed Jermaine Ainsley from the Rebels. Josh Honnock's come back. He played in the Mitre 10 Cup as well. Bit of a veteran. Highlanders legend. Billy Harman, as I mentioned, from the Crusaders. Liam Squire's going to come back from Japan. As if they don't have enough good loosies. They've also added Japanese dynamite player Kazuki Himeno. At the World Cup, that guy was immense. How well they stacked their back row. It's pretty full of talent. Fitupai, as I mentioned, and Solomon Alamalo from the Chiefs. So they've certainly brought in the most kind of guys with top level experience, some veterans. Yeah, there's no real. I mean, Paia is probably the least experienced guy of the lot. Jack Wetton's left though. Dylan Hunt, as I mentioned, Brink Gatland. Jesse Parete has gone over to Japan. Rob Thompson, who's been playing for a long time, has also left. I didn't see Tay Walden. I think he maybe didn't get a contract, or again, maybe he's wider training squad, not sure. And Josh Mackay as well. So, yeah, who knows? I guess the Highlanders are the ones with the biggest question marks about them as to how they go in 2021. It's not always easy to bring all these guys in and get them to gel. It's one thing the Crusaders are so good at because you bring guys through the ranks. They already know the system. They've played with these guys before. There's no real chemistry that needs to be built because it's already there. It's not always easy to get guys who've been playing under different coaches, different systems, and to get them all to gel. So that's going to be the big challenge for the Highlanders. But man, Tony Brown is a smart fella. And if there's a guy who's going to get it done, I'm sure it is him. But yeah, as I said, it's not the exhaustive list. There are certainly other guys that have signed on with some of these teams, other guys who have left. Who are you most excited to see for their new team in Super Rugby Aotearoa? Who are you most sad to see go? I know Hurricanes fans will be pretty sad to see the back of Ben Lamb. He looked close on becoming an All Black at one stage, but it never quite panned out. Bowen Barrett's absence will be missed for the Blues, undoubtedly. But again, we brought in Lalala and Hunt, so I can't really be complaining. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think about these signings. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.